I want to talk about Special Olympics before we go.
Okay.
A little switcheroo here. So, Casey does a lot of stuff with Special Olympics. She's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
she's been to all over the nation. She's going around the world now. She's going to be a world traveler for Special Olympics.
Yeah.
So, real quick, we have Special Olympics at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have state, nationals, worlds.
Yes.
What is the world games?
World Games, yeah.
Yeah. Which was on ESPN last year, I think, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was so cool in Seattle, which you
That was
attended.
National Games.
Oh, that was National Games. That was amazing.
It was.
And Casey led the first paddle board team of Texas.
Stand-up
So this was the very first year that they did that?
Yes. So
that's pretty awesome.
So some other states have been doing it, and so they're trialing it to see if it'll become a national sport. But Texas had not done it before.
How did your team enjoy it?
They loved it.
So do you see it being a thing someday?
I hope so.
Games? Not just a trial?
Right. So the next national games, which will be in like 3 or 4 years, I've lost track now, but is in Florida.
And they only do it every couple of years?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So the World Games runs very similar to the Olympics. So every 2 years there's either summer or winter games.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And then national games, I want to say, is like 3. It's not exactly the same. It's a little bit different, but I think it's 3 years.
How do the athletes qualify? Let's start with the bottom, the local level. Mm-hmm. Do you just sign up and go?
Yeah. So you have to have an intellectual disability or a related condition. So related condition, again, meaning maybe the IQ is higher, but the adaptive functioning is not there. It is not just for physical disability. That's Paralympics. Okay. So if they have a physical disability and not an intellectual disability, they would not qualify for Special Olympics. They could do Paralympics. And I don't know barely anything about Paralympics, but I know it's a separate thing. So they have to they have to have the intellectual disability or the related condition. I think, and I haven't worked with kids for a long time, but I think it's 7 for the local level of like how old they have to be to actually compete.
Age, okay.
They do have like programs for younger kids. I think it's called Young Athletes, maybe even, but they can start like practicing and doing certain things. But for competition, I want to say it's 7 or 8 that they have to be.
Cool.
I could be wrong about that because.
And then to get to the state level, you usually have to go to the local, or is it?
It's not
necessarily
based on ability per se, because that would be really hard to figure out to some degree. So when you enter Special Olympics for a competition on any level, you enter entry scores. And those scores are used, so divisioning is done by ability level, age to a degree, and gender. And so there's a ton of different categories for every sport because you're in these like little divisions of like 3 to 8 people. So to compete at the state level, you just have to have competed at the local level, or area is what we call it in Texas. So it's not necessarily that you had to win, but you did have to compete in order to move up.
And then it's just a matter of getting the resources to travel there and sign up on time.
Yep. Yeah. All of those. Yeah. Do the paperwork, get there. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So anyone that competes in an area can go to state. For national and world games, it's you have to have competed at state within a certain amount of time of that nationals, and I don't know if it's 1 year or 2. And then I think it's just like a lottery draw. So the state office chooses people. There are divisions that are called high performance divisions, and those are based off of skill. So, if you're at the top of the divisions and you win that division, then you might go as like a high performance athlete. I think it's high
That's pretty cool.
But yeah.
So they have something for the highly competitive people and something just...
Well, and that's what I really like about Special Olympics is at any level, there's something there for you to do. And pretty much every sport has the sport itself and then individual skills. So Calvin and I have experience with this because he was our basketball coach.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
My assistant coach, who has an IDD, gave me an award for the best coach of the year.
Yes.
I was
well deserved.
It made my life. I have it up in my room. It's still awesome. It was amazing.
But yeah, so Calvin did the actual basketball team who were playing just 5-on-5 basketball, and I had a group that was doing individual skills. And so those people maybe aren't quite ready to be in the full game yet because they haven't quite developed those skills yet, or maybe they have a health reason that they can't participate. So like one of our older gentlemen had fallen in basketball the year before and then just didn't really feel comfortable because he had hurt his shoulder. But then also it could be a behavioral issue, so or just, you know, a sensory issue, like I don't like people touching me, so
Makes
basketball
sense.
might
Yeah.
be a minefield of you know, people coming at me. So just all different reasons why they might not be able to compete in the full sport, but there's still real competition for them to do.
So just for example, in basketball,
Mm-hmm.
competing, you have, you know, 5-on-5 or maybe 3-on-3 basketball, and
Mm-hmm.
you have a team, people wear jerseys, whatnot. The skills, it's more you just show up as an individual,
Right.
and you dribble around cones, or you shoot baskets, or you pass the ball.
They'll take components of the sport and break it in, kind of like we talked about earlier, breaking it into smaller pieces. So yeah, it's a dribble, it's a free throws, it's a passing, like a passing accuracy. And the goal is, you know, some people might be in individual skills forever, but maybe by learning some of these skills, then they can kind of move up. So they're getting the pieces of the sport, and then they can hopefully someday bring that together and do the full sport.
That's cool.
Or not, just depending.
Whatever you want to do.
Right, but the competition is still there. I mean, that's why they division, to make sure it's good competition. So it's not one person completely blowing out another, but everybody is really going to have to go there and do their all in their division to get that award. The rules are very strict. I mean, I think a lot of people see Special Olympics and they're like, oh, they're just going to hand out medals to anyone that walks in the door, and that's really not the case. I mean, it is good sports and good competition. You know, if you're in bowling and you go over the foul line, you're not getting that point.
I was amazed by all that, like, and just the community around it. Like, there was a lot of people, even at I think we started at local level and then regional level, and just like the amount of people and the, like, I don't even know, like like the seriousness that was there. It really took me back to high school when I was on the basketball team, and I was like, let's do this. We're competing. Like, even though we were in the lower divisions, we were already there to compete.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun. And so was everyone else.
Yeah. And I think that's sometimes what gets lost, and what would be nice for people to know is, that's not, again, there's something for every level. So there's certainly the people that do just want to kind of show up and whatever, do their thing, and that's fine. But there's also a very high level of sportsmanship and competition that goes into it.
It was really cool to me to see how much pride everyone there had. Like, that was, it was, it rubbed off on me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is cool.
It is. And it's been cool to see it at all the different levels, and I've been really lucky to be able to do that. And
that's awesome. How do you go from the local to up to the national as a volunteer, like what you do, or coach, or
an application?
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I think for nationals, it's kind of a luck of the draw. For World Games, you actually have to interview and put in your application. And
she passed.
I did it.
She's going to the World Games in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, yeah, 2019.
That is cool.
Yes, I'm super excited.
Well, congratulations,
Thank
Casey.
you.
And thank you for sharing all of your knowledge, even to me, who has worked in this field for 8-10 years and didn't know a lot of this stuff.
Well, thanks for your interest
educating
in it.
me. Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
Goes both ways.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.